guys, to another race.
And we are back at it with another episode of the McLaren My Team Career F1 Manager Series, career mode, whatever you want to call it. We are back at it, guys, here, episode number 6, and it is an exciting one. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future action. And you can see the constructor standings right here, right now. We are still currently in 6th, a few more points now behind Alpine as they had a decent race last time out. The driver standings, Perez leads the way over Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc, and Alonso to round out the top 5, and we currently lead the way when it comes to pit stops. So very good stuff there. We are getting ready for, I believe it is the Monza Grand Prix, or the race at Monza. Let's see. Or sorry, it's Imola. We are at Imola. Monza is a little bit later on in the year. Yep, we are at Imola. It is a fun, decent track that I feel like our car will be able to be decent on. Comment last video was able to give me a little insight on what we can do for qualifying here moving forward, and kind of being a little bit more useful when it comes to using our powertrain car parts with the engine, ERS, and gearbox. Currently, Piastri's car, we were able to get the underfloor 2 on his car, so I'm hopeful that that will be able to boost his speed in cornering in the races to come. Medium risk for a few other parts, and then the suspension is at high risk, but we should be okay with that. And then Lando is looking good on his car parts as well. Between this and the last episode, we have gone ahead and started the upgrade on our scouting department, as well as a big facility upgrade in the wind tunnel. It'll take quite a little bit of time here for that to actually get done, and it was $12 million, or it was 12 or 11 million. It'll be ready to be upgraded in 64 days time, but that's going to be a huge boost to airflow, downforce, drag reduction, DRS delta, and airflow front when we do develop parts. So I wanted to get that going in real life. Currently, the board confidence is medium. They are pretty satisfied right now with our performances. You can see race performance. Obviously, the first race of the year, they were disappointed, but they've been satisfied and delighted so far the rest of the way. Currently, drivers have not been updated since that first, I think it was in episode 2, Lando got bumped up to a 88 overall. We still have the development on race strategy for Piastri to bring that up, and Lando is still currently developing at a balanced rate. I think that that is the right one for him, but we are going to get ready for the Grand Prix race weekend here. We will go ahead, hop into the practice session. We'll get the practice out of the way, and then we will hop into qualifying, where you guys will also hop on board with us and see if we can qualify high for the Imola race this weekend at the Grand Prix here in Italy. So we have gone ahead and finished practice, and the boys are pretty much set and ready to go. Piastri's actually a little bit more acclimatized when it comes to his setup satisfaction, 95%. We couldn't really get Lando super dialed in, but he is up to 90% with setup satisfaction. Both drivers happy with their car parts, and both drivers are pretty much good with the track simulation. So both drivers do start the Grand Prix weekend off fairly happy, and we will go ahead and get things ready here for qualifying. Super excited for this one. I really hope that the boys can put together a decent qualifying output here. And it looks like there's a mandatory tire that we have to go with in qualifying. It looks like hard tires 2, or hard tires for Q1. So we'll have to look and see what we can do. We're going to need to warm them up a little bit, and then we're also going to swap out the engine on both of our drivers, as well as the ERS and the gearbox for our drivers. And actually, I'll go gearbox 3 because we'll save gearbox 2 for the race. So Piastri's car is 100% ready to go, and then we'll go ahead and get Lando, get him on a new engine, and then we will swap back the gearbox. We'll go to gearbox 7, and then we will go ahead and swap the ERS to ERS 4, and then we'll eventually go back to ERS. I think we'll go back to ERS 3 for the next race. This car, because one or more is currently being unused. Okay, so we'll see what we can do with these parts. We've got them both on 2 flying laps. We're on the hard compound tires, but everyone else is going to be on those hard compound tires. So really excited here for qualifying to see if maybe, just maybe, we could get both cars in to Q2. I'm really hopeful for that, but we'll have to wait and see. Kind of flying around here, looking decent on his lap. Technically, Piastri is up there with guys having crossed the line, but no times are coming on, which is quite interesting. But we'll see what Lando can do. Piastri's currently in second. Lando's going to cross the line here with the DRS activated, and he's actually... Is he worse than Piastri? Possibly. It's quite interesting. We'll probably just have to follow along with their second flying lap, if anything, and see where they're at with that, as Piastri's going to come across the start-finish line for his second flying lap. He's going to possibly get caught up behind Hulkenberg. Thankfully, not too bad. We'll hop back on board here with Piastri as he's about to come around those double turns. I want to hop on board with him. He's got 2 yellow sectors, which is unfortunate, and Piastri is not going to really improve. Looks like Norris is a yellow sector 2, which is not great, but Piastri has put in a decent time, better than Nick DeVries, which is nice. So we'll have to look and see what Lando is going to do on these hard tires, and if he could do a little bit better than his current teammate of Oscar Piastri. DRS is activated, coming down the main stretch. Is he going to do better than Piastri? I don't think he did. I do not think he did better than Piastri. Red flag. Session suspended, cars to pit lane. Why is the red flag? Who crashed? Are they going to show us? Replay. We've got Nick DeVries here. Oh, Nick DeVries absolutely smashes his car. I was like, are we going to actually get the replay? Nick DeVries sends it into the wall. They've got to do repairs on the barriers, and Nick DeVries is most likely going to be out of qualifying, which is quite interesting. We at least got our flying laps in. We got a 20-minute delay. Have we made it into Q2? And Lando actually does a little bit better than Piastri. He's up an 8th, so he's back on an outlap right now as Piastri is coming in here. Yellow sector 1, not great. Let's see what he can do in sector 2. We'll keep an eye out on his time. If he does another yellow sector, yeah, yellow sector 2. It's going to be tight if Piastri can actually get out of Q1 as he goes across the finish line. He's currently in 16th, so there's a chance that Piastri can make it as Lando getting his second flying lap in. Can he solidify his spot into Q2, or is he going to be fighting for Q3 as Piastri is just going to get across the start-finish line in time, and Lando goes P12. So I don't think he actually went up, unfortunately, on his flyer. So we're going to have to hope and pray that Lando's time is good enough as Piastri flying on that flyer. This is his second flying lap of his stint. We've got our cars out super early. Can Piastri do something? He's got 2 yellow sectors. Not great for Piastri, and he's going to come across the line, hopefully get in 15th or 14th, and that's P16. Okay, so Piastri is going to be knocked out. At this point, we're going to have to hope and pray that Lando can hold on to at least P15 with cars coming across the line. Ooh, yellow flag. Crash on track. That could be huge. Lance Stroll crashing on turn 13 could save the day and send Lando. Oh, wow, he went a little wide. He goes pretty deep. Holy smokes. Lance Stroll absolutely smashing the front of his car. I don't know if he's done any front wing damage to that and will be out, which would be huge. But Piastri is currently out of qualifying. Stroll was able to get it back on track. And at this point, we kind of just got to hope and pray that some drivers aren't able to improve. We're kind of just worried about Zhou Guanyu. Stroll, Albon. Albon is coming around. Let's see what he can do. I don't know if it's going to be enough to beat Norris. It is not. Man, Piastri just missing out on his first ever Q2 potential performance. That would have been absolutely massive if we could have made that work. As, again, Lando does get in, but Piastri just one position out. He had a good run of it in Q3, finishing in 16th. Not too bad there, but we at least have gotten Piastri, or not Piastri, sorry, Lando, into the Q2. We lay down the rubber early, I think, with Lando, because the rubber is very low right now, but I kind of want to get his time in and then get the 2 flying laps in near the end. As Lando, we're not going to watch the first flying lap near the end because it typically doesn't really matter, but Lando putting in a decent time. We've got another red flag, and is it Logan Sargent? I see him dead stop there, just coming around the turn to go to the home stretch, and Logan Sargent, that could be huge. Going around that last turn, just catches the curb and absolutely smokes his car into the wall. They're going to have to repair the barriers. Obviously, it doesn't look like the barriers have been destroyed in this game, but they most likely will need to do that. I don't know if he lost a front wing, rear wing, or what, but Lando has at least thrown a time down and currently sits in first, which is pretty insane if you ask me right now. Obviously, the red flag will come to an end, and we will go racing again, but there's only 10 minutes left. So a lot of teams are going to have to get their runs in now. We just got to be smart about when we send Lando out. Because, again, we currently sit atop the table, but I think I've seen fastest laps being like 1:13 and whatnot. So we'll send Lando out now as he's dropping down the field. He's currently in 5th with a time, 6th. We're not going to watch his first flying lap because it's usually not the best. And Norris, yeah, he's currently in 11th. Can we get to Q3? Second out lap, we will be coming around with enough time. He's got yellow sectors currently. Not great. Yeah, 2 yellow sectors. It's not looking great for us to get out of Q2. Our car is just not good enough at this point in time. As Lando putting the pedal to the metal, can he get something here on this second flying lap? But it is P12 for Lando. We're most likely going to miss out on Q1 once again, and we're not going to be able to cross the start-finish line in this one. It is what it is. I'm happy that, again, we got a car into Q2. That is very intriguing to see. Does make me quite happy. We should have maybe boosted that with our sponsors, if anything, but we've got good starting grid position, 12th and 16th. I think that's very good for what we are trying to do. And yeah, I'm happy with that performance. Go ahead, skip this result for qualifying, and we'll tell you guys results end of qualifying. It looks like Verstappen took pole over Leclerc, Alonso, Perez, Sainz, Stroll, Esteban Ocon, Lewis Hamilton, and George Russell down in 8th and 9th. So that's going to be quite interesting to see if Ocon and Stroll are going to burn their tires up early in the race, as we now need to figure out our car setup. We're going to go ahead and put an extra lap of fuel, just one. I know last race we did 2, but we're only going to do 1 extra lap of fuel to kind of push at the start. Currently, we've got options to do medium hards, soft hard, or soft medium medium. Looking at Oscar, I know he's typically not good with tires, so we may want to go medium hard on the stint for him, and I think that's what we're going to do for Piastri. And then for Lando, I'm thinking we could go soft hard and kind of push it, and that does seem like it is the best option for him, especially if there's maybe a yellow flag or safety car. We could maybe bring him in for another set of softs possibly, and maybe extend out and then get mediums on later in the race. Driver options, we will push attack pretty hard at the start, I think, for Lando. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And then we'll push hard at the start as well for Piastri, because the last time we did this with both of our drivers, it seemed to work very well at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. But again, it's not a street circuit. We'll have to see how things go, as we've got green flag, lights flashing on the board, and we are lights out at this Grand Prix weekend. We're going to hop, I didn't mean to do that, hop on board with Lando Norris to see if he can get up positions here in this race. We are absolutely buzzing out the start, which is nice, but coming into the first turn, can Lando make a move and have good position here? He does have the inside out of that second little turn there, and we are on the back of George Russell right now with Lando Norris. Piastri is up a position ahead of Logan Sargent, and he's just on the back of Hülkenberg and Albon, heading in towards the back portion of the lap. We've got to stay strong here and hold off Logan Sargent, who had that accident in Q2. Tsunoda overtakes Norris, so it does look like Lando and Yuki are fighting and battling, as Hamilton and Russell have already passed Yuki Tsunoda, so we've got to push hard here on these tires. ERS is also being deployed. We want to make sure that we get the ERS battle assist turned on for both of our drivers. As we are coming to the close here of the first lap, we're going to want to really be on board here early in this race, I think, as it does look like Norris is pulling away from Albon. Piastri's got to hang on to the back here of Hülkenberg and kind of just be in a good position, as I thought Hülkenberg was kind of losing it a little bit there, but he was not. We did forget to change our parts. I did mess that up. We left our engine, gearboxes, and all that stuff on. Unfortunately, yeah, I left those on, so that's unfortunate, but we'll be able to build more parts if need be, and utilize those as the season goes on for qualifying. But here comes Norris. He's got to stay in touch here of Yuki. Yuki does seem to be kind of on the back of that train, and looking at Alpine, they're in 7th and 8th right now, and those are the teams that we are trying to battle with, so I'm really hopeful that the Mercedes, the Mercs of Hamilton and Russell, can find a way to get up the grid, as Piastri is struggling a little bit, but he does have a decent way of distance between him and Logan Sargent as we are getting midway through the second lap. We'll go ahead and take a look at the bird's eye view and kind of follow along on times 4 speed for the time being. I don't want to push too hard on our tires. We're going to need to be smart with Lando. We'll go back down to standard distance with Yuki, and it does seem to kind of hover around that 1 second mark. Piastri still hanging on to the back of Hülkenberg, but Hülkenberg is starting to lose ground to Albon. Lando is losing ground, unfortunately, and Albon does overtake Norris. Okay, so we need to bump up maybe the usage of our tires, as Albon down the main stretch able to utilize the DRS activated as he gets the better enter angle into the first couple turns of the track. So we'll bump that back up to aggressive and see if Norris can get back at Albon, as it does look like he is pretty darn close to the back of him here, and we just got to wait and see if he's going to be able to make that move. I don't know what it is with that section of the track where we're super close and then we drop back a couple tenths of seconds. We'll have to keep an eye out on that part of the track. If it's not great for our car, we're going to have to really keep an eye and see if we're going to be able to utilize our ERS. So we'll go back to neutral with our guys to see if we can stay in touching distance of the cars in front of us, as it does look like Piastri is under attack here by Logan Sargent, and it does look like it's only a matter of time before Piastri does give up position. Lando keeping it in decent touching distance of Alexander Albon, and we'll kind of let him use up his tires, as Norris is at 68, Albon on 64, Piastri 69% on those tires. He's doing okay. Gasly, and Russell is the next one to try to make a move, and Yuki Tsunoda is kind of in no man's land. Piastri and Sargent do look like they are having a little bit of a battle right now. We'll take a look here at the highlights. As you can see here, Sargent trying to make the move on Piastri there into the turn, and he's just gotta be a little bit brave there, as Piastri almost runs him off the track. He is a little bit braver. As soon as he gets the DRS, he takes off down that main straight, and Piastri kind of left in the dust. Piastri tire usage not the best. Lando's doing a pretty solid job on those soft tires, as he's still 3 seconds behind Yuki Tsunoda, who is on medium tires. Albon on the softs. Hulkenberg not doing a great job with those mediums, but Piastri not doing great at all. He's already dropped another place. We may need to look to get Piastri into the pits early. Let's see where he's at. Man, those medium tires, he's going to have to hold on for a little bit longer, because I'm thinking that Magnussen's going to need to come in soon. I think as soon as Magnussen pits, we're going to need to pit Piastri literally the lap after in order to try to stay in front of him as this race continues on. Russell still can't get in front of Gasly, as we've got a yellow flag. Several cars in a collision. Let's see if this will create a safety car, which would be nice. It's Hamilton and Ocon, it looks like. Have they taken each other out? Hamilton, ooh, I think he lost his front wing. What did Ocon do? We can't really see. Did Hamilton lose his front wing? I think he did. That's huge for us. Hamilton, is he dropping? Let me look at the map. Hamilton has dropped. He's probably going to need to pit this lap as well. And that's kind of easy pickings right there, but I feel like he's good enough to kind of get back through the pack. Hamilton is, with the quality of a racer that he is. Hamilton is going... He didn't go into the pits. That's quite interesting. So Hamilton, a lot of makeup work to do, but the Alpines are looking very good in this race. I don't know if they've had upgrades to their vehicle, but they're looking very, very good. Magnussen is coming up on Piastri, and we may need to look to pit Piastri earlier than we anticipated. Norris, we're going to also maybe need to bring in. We're going to need to hold off on those tires right now. We're going to need to lay off to see. Piastri is about to be passed by Kevin Magnussen, and we're going to hop on board here with Lando as he goes into the pits and hope for maybe a sub 2.5 pit stop. I'm hoping for a 2.45. It does look like Albon comes into the pits as well, as Piastri is overtaken by Magnussen. Let's hop back on board with Lando as the pit stop is now. Can we have a good one? It's 2.49. That's a very good pit stop from the crew. And can Lando get in front of Albon? He does. Clean exit there from Lando. And that is good stuff. Piastri dropping places. Or that was Norris. That was a very fast pit stop from Lando and the boys. Very happy about that. Piastri is probably going to have to go another lap. Let's be aggressive out of the pits as well. Let's deploy the ERS as well. See if we can catch up a little bit and be in a good spot on these hard tires. We may have come out a little bit earlier than I wanted, but Piastri under attack here by Bottas, who's on fresher medium tires. So we're probably going to lose a place here. Piastri just really can't utilize his tires to their fullest potential, which is unfortunate. So we're going to need to bring Piastri in a little bit earlier than I anticipated, and he's probably going to be on a 3-stop. So if that's the case, hold up. If that's the case, let's just put him on double softs for his last 2 stints and see if he can last. I don't know if he will. And I don't know if he's coming in this lap. He should. Yeah, we're bringing Piastri in as Norris. We're just about to get the tires up to temp, and we might be able to make it. I think we're going to need a safety car to be able to save our hopes. As Piastri in the pits, can we have another decent stop from the boys? 2.16, not the best of stops. Was much better for Norris, but we've got Piastri on soft tires. We're going to do a double stint, I think, for him on the soft tires, especially if we can get a safety car. That would be amazing, as Norris is pulling away from Albon on those medium or the hard tires with mode push going and aggressive. So we're going to try to play it smart and see if we can overcut some of the drivers in front of us and kind of get back into a good spot. As Verstappen in the pits as well. We need to hope that we have a very decent running here on these tires. So we'll just keep an eye out as we'll go back to the overview. Let me get that back to neutral on Lando. And let's get back to standard as we're actually catching Nick DeVries. So I'll kind of keep him pushing. Mode push for him. Piastri is currently in last. Norris did get the overcut so far on Sargent and Magnussen. And at this point, it's only a matter of time before DeVries is going to have to come into the pits as well. So we'll need to watch this lap. Yeah, Russell's in, which is nice. Bottas and the Alfa Romeos actually stay out. So Norris actually gets around DeVries. We'll watch that overtake. Very good stuff. Down the main straight, our DRS is activated, and we are able to take care of business there on Nick DeVries. As we head back to the overview, Stroll into the pits. Ocon goes by him. Ocon in 4th position. That's absolutely insane, as Alpine could get big points today. We're going to need to make it up here, as Piastri is doing a decent stint here on these softs. He is catching up to Kevin Magnussen, as Lando... Let's take a look at the tires. Yeah, I feel like the Alfa Romeo's got to come in soon. Russell's already pitted. Gasly has already pitted. Hamilton now in the pits. Bottas in the pits. And Lando's actually going to go past Lewis Hamilton, as there was a pit stop issue for Lewis Hamilton. So Lando up into 13th. Zhou Guanyu is going to have to come into the pits. Hulkenberg is into the pits. Yuki Tsunoda in the pits. We're coming down the main straight. Can we get around Yuki? We do get around Yuki. So the overcut is looking good so far, and he is on the hard tires as well. So we'll also bump up. We're on lap 32 of 63, so Yuki does get the move done on Lando, unfortunately. As you can see here, running pretty good, but he does come off, takes the inside route, and overtakes Lando. So we're going to have to play it smart, play the long game. Lewis Hamilton is right behind us. So we're going to need something to happen with those Alpines, or a battle up front or in the back when it comes to a potential issue, as Hamilton is now on our back trying to pass us. And yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult for sure. I don't know if everyone is currently on a 2-stop race, because we've got Piastri on a 3-stop right now. As we'll go back to the ×8 here. Lando's doing a good job against Lewis Hamilton. Let's just go back to standard, because I don't want him to cook his tires too much, especially if we need to make it to the end. Albon trying to catch up to us and Hamilton and Yuki. Kind of that little train there. George Russell is in no man's land. Hamilton does get the overtake on Lando down the main stretch, utilizing DRS. He is able to get the job done, as I'm sure he kind of sets himself up here in a good position in turns 1 and 2, and he does able to nip us there and get in front. So we now need to just watch Albon and see if he gets in a decent spot. We're going to need to bring Piastri in here soon. He's doing a better job on those tires. He is being lapped right now, currently in 18th. I may look to bring Piastri in soon and get him on a fresh set of tires. Yeah, Zhou Guanyu passes him on the hards. I think the next lap, yeah, we're going to need to bring Piastri in. So we'll bring him on to another set of mediums. We'll bring him in this lap and see if we could just last on some fresh mediums, because I don't think he lasted very long on the soft tires. I wish we'd be able to tell how many laps we did on the soft tires. But Lando's doing a pretty decent job. Kind of in no man's land, as Albon is actually starting to catch a little bit. So we're going to need to kind of utilize our monitoring skills in hopes that we can hold on. Piastri in the pits. 2.6 second stop, so not terrible, not great. But he is still in front of Nick DeVries, so we're most likely not going to get last, which is nice. But he will most likely be able to make it. Running wide, Zhou Guanyu, which is nice for Oscar Piastri to try to catch up. Is that him going wide there, or does he go wide here? Where does he go wide? I have no idea where Jogon, you went wide on the track. I did not actually see him. Seconds back, Piastri, we're going to give it everything he's got on those tires. Mode push for him. And Lando's just got to hold on at this point. I think he'll be able to do so for a measly 12th position. Not the best of Grand Prix weekends. Let's go back to standard. Lando just getting down the main stretch. Or no, sorry, that was Piastri. Lando in the thick of it here. Behind a Red Bull, somehow we are in the thick of having a front row seat to a battle up front, which is quite funny. But overall, race-wise, decent weekend. Not extremely good, but at the same time, a little disappointing because the Alpines are going to get 7th and 8th position, which is big-time points, double points finishes for them. Lando holds on to 12th. We'll hop back on with Piastri, who is going to get second to last. At least he's not Nick DeVries, but man, Piastri just ain't it. Lando's happy. Thanking everybody for a decent car, decent drive. Man, I don't really know what my thoughts are technically on the full weekend as a whole. As I'll go ×2 here with Piastri, as he's going to get around the final corners, and he's going to end our Grand Prix weekend here. It was a lackluster performance overall, I think, from the entire team. Can we do better? We need to do better. I don't want our race at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix to kind of be a one-off thing. But Fernando Alonso up 2 positions, winning the Grand Prix weekend. It is a 1-2 from Aston Martin as Lance Stroll up 3 positions to win the Grand Prix, or to get second in the Grand Prix, and then Charles Leclerc finishing off the rest of the podium as Max Verstappen actually drops 3 places to 4th. Carlos Sainz starts 5th, finishes 5th. Sergio Perez down to 6th. Esteban Ocon started 7th, finished 7th, and then Gasly getting up to 8th. And that's 10 points there for the Alpine team, which is not good for us, as Lando started in 12th, finished in 12th. And then Piastri down 3 to 19th. Not great. Looking at the overall drivers' standings, Perez still leading Verstappen, but it is now a shrunken lead. Ferrari still 3rd and 4th. Lance Stroll up to 7th. Fernando Alonso still in 5th, but big points for him this weekend. Gasly down 1. Esteban Ocon up 1. And Lando still currently in 11th when it comes to the Constructors Drivers Championship, and Oscar Piastri still in 17th. And then the Constructors sit as is, and again, massive points weekend for Alpine, getting 10. They're up to 24, and we're currently in 4th. So we definitely need to look to have some better weekends. AlphaTauri up 1, Williams down 1, and Alfa Romeo still in last place. So not great for them. Results for fastest pit stop. Lando does get 3rd with a 2.492, 2.4 from Alpine. Very nice for them. We get 17 points. Alpine is now up into 2nd in that competition. We still lead the way with 134, so still a decent lead. And you can see the report here on, let me see the weekend here. Piastri, 19th practice, qualifying 16th, and the race was 19th. So, again, not a great race car driver, in my opinion. Lando, 14th in practice, qualifying was 12th, race was 12th overall. Again, kind of an icky weekend. Reserve driver, nothing doing it for him. And then finances, we do go up $4.1 million, which is very nice. More funds for potential parts to be built for us. And we do get research for the chassis completed for the upcoming 2024 season. Because I'm kind of like, I've got one eye on this season, and obviously I still want to fight to get 5th. But I also kind of have one eye on next season as well, and seeing what we can do and moving forward. We are going to have some suspension ready for the next race, and the next race is going to be a crucial one. It is the Monaco Grand Prix, and it's basically one of the Super Bowls of the year for F1 racing. It is heavily reliant upon qualifying, is typically where you're going to finish around, so we're going to need to have a very, very good car for that upcoming weekend, and hopefully we'll be able to get some parts hopefully done. We've got 4 days until the next race, so probably not. We will have some suspension done because I'm pretty sure one of our cars is going to need it. We need to swap out some side pods, and then for car 1, we're going to need to swap out the rear wing and potentially the suspension as well. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. If you did enjoy it, be sure to drop a thumbs up on this. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let me know down below in the comments what we should do with our cars. What do we need to change? What do we need to tune? What parts do we need to make, and how can we make them better? Because currently you can see the stats with our car performance versus the rest of the grid. And let me actually look at Lando because it's a better representation, I think. Our acceleration is not the best. Our cornering still needs to get better, and our components are actually fairly decent for the grid, but let me know what we should do down below in the comments for that. But that's going to be it for this one, and we will see you guys in the next episode.